And I can't believe this month is already over. Where has 2018? It's like slowed down. We're already in March, but spring is right around the corner, and this is my last hair science video in this series before I moved on to the next topic I want to talk about in March. But anyway, it's all about hair porosity. What is hair porosity, period? Hair porosity is your ability of your hair strands to take in and retain moisture. And depending on the level of health of your hair, depends on the level of porosity. Me personally, I think hair porosity is so much more important than curl pattern. As my first video suggested, when your hair grows out on your scalp, depending on the shape of your follicle and the genetics behind it, you have no control really over your curl pattern. It is what it is. It's built in your DNA basically. You can't really change the shape of your follicle unless you get yourself a relaxer. And this is a natural channel, nothing wrong with relaxers, but I'm not going down that path. So knowing that the curl pattern is something that you really can't change, that goes down to porosity. Porosity you can control because porosity is the level of health of your hair. Porosity is so determined on the cuticle, on the outer layer of your hair strand. Your cuticle, if it's normal and healthy, will have normal and great porosity, be able to retain moisture with absolutely no problem. Will be able to retain and take in product with absolutely no problem. It's very healthy hair. Now you move to the other side of the spectrum where you have high porosity hair. Just think that, remember, now I'll insert a picture of the drawing I did of the hair cuticle because there's three main components of that. If you remember, the outer layer of the cuticle is kind of like fish scales. It lays on top of each other. That is the most important part of our hair makeup when it comes to our health of our hair. If the cuticle is really flat and has absolutely no give, now I'm using my hands as an example. If it's really flat, that's low porosity hair. Now I do have low porosity hair. I'll link some videos down below of videos I've done in the past about my low porosity hair. But basically what low porosity characteristics are, your hair looks really shiny, looks really healthy, has very little volume. Welcome here to the Fine Thin Hair Club. Has very thin volume. Takes a really hard time to get moisture in your hair or to get moisture out of your hair. It takes freaking forever for your hair to dry and for products to soak in. And the reason why that happens with low porosity hair, your cuticle is like glue. It's like, hi, we're going to be really shut, really tight. And because it's shut really tight, nothing can get in and nothing can get out. The only way that you can lift your cuticle a little bit, not to the point where it's like damage, but a little bit just so that way it's a little gateway so moisture can come in and out, is with heat. Now you know I'm so anti-heat, it's crazy. I do not like heat. I haven't used a flat iron in a minute. I haven't used any type of heating tube or a blow dryer. I just refuse. I really rely on my body heat if I can. So when I'm in the shower, you know how sometimes people say do not use hot water in your hair? Obviously I don't use hot water. I use really warm water because I'm standing in the shower, and rinse my hair with really warm water to open up that cuticle a little bit. And while I'm applying my deep conditioner, all that good stuff, I put on a plastic bag on my head while I'm in the shower, or I don't. Just depends how lazy I am. But the steam, the hot steam and drenching my hair with hot water leaves that cuticle up a bit. And with that, it lets the deep conditioner get in and get all nice and juicy and moisturized. But then when I rinse it out to shock it back closed, I do rinse my hair with cold water, and my cuticles just go right back like glue. And whatever moisture I put inside of my low porosity hair is stuck in there, and my hair is extremely moisturized. Now with having low porosity hair, I am protein sensitive. Not all low porosity women or men hair are protein sensitive, but it is a common characteristic. I do fall in that category. I'm extremely protein sensitive, so I have to be very, very careful. But I do fall in a category of sometimes over moisturizing my hair, making it really mushy. So I do have to periodically give myself a light protein treatment to keep a really good balance. So I usually do a henna treatment every 3 months, or I do a really, really light protein treatment of my choice. But if I do, I only do it once a month. And on the other side of the spectrum is high porosity hair. And with high porosity hair, that's when your cuticle is really, really damaged. It's lifted, brittle, and that's where there's no gateway. So just imagine your cuticle's like this. It's constantly open and jagged and just rough. Whatever you put in there is coming right back out because there's nothing to hold it in. So with high porosity hair, that's usually where it's color treated, chemically treated. That's when you really need some type of protein treatment because our hair is basically just protein bonds. So a nice protein treatment hopefully will kind of fill in the gaps of that areas and kind of close it off to keep some moisture in. But to be honest, with that type of high porosity, if you feel that ragginess, me personally, I'm just going to cut it off. And that's what I did when I had heat damage. You can get so much damage with heat. Heck, the sun is damaged. The environment's damaged. I mean, when you think about it, you really cannot keep any type of damage off your hair. Everything's going to be damaging to your hair. From running your fingers through it, from running a comb, a dimming brush, anything's going to be damaged to your hair, okay? So what you're just trying to do is minimal. But when you have high porosity hair, your hair is fried, dyed, laid to the side. It's like really, really damaged. And for me, the only way to get rid of that, no matter how many protein treatments you do, it can fill in the gaps a little bit to keep some moisture in. But if you just want to start fresh, I personally, when I had heat damage, I just did a big chop. I was done with it. I was like, let's start over. And I'm really glad that I have. My big chop anniversary is coming up on 2 years this March, so yay! I can't believe I actually cut off all my hair, but I did, and I'm glad I did. Because with high porosity, it's just hard to keep moisture in because your cuticle is basically, it won't go back to where it was. It will never lay flat. It will always be damaged. And the protein treatment you're putting on it is just kind of filling in the holes as best as it can. And it's not really going to do an optimal job. Only thing you can do is cut your hair. So what I'm going to do, because I've been doing a little hair science portion, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the hair science and go to that picture I drew and go even more into detail in regards to high porosity hair and what protein treatments do for high porosity hair, if anything. So what category do you fall in? I know there's all kinds of little tricks of figuring out how to figure out your porosity by putting your hair stand in water or whatever. For me personally, the only way to find out is basically putting your hair under a microscope and looking at it, or just the way it acts with product. That's a very sure sign. You know, if you have normal porosity, you have absolutely no problem with your hair taking in product, your hair feeling moisturized, and moisturization does not equal being soft or shiny. Okay, so to make sure that's very, very clear. Your hair can be very moisturized and take in water without having the characteristics of being shiny. Okay, but yeah, so for me, I don't think there's a true test of like putting your hair in water to see what your porosity is. The only way to find out is under a microscope, going to a dermatologist to look at your hair strands and let you know, or just by feel how your hair takes in product or how your hair does not take in product. So I'm done talking. I hope you guys enjoyed this series. I really had a whole bunch of fun doing this, guys. So sorry that I was having some issues with my camera work. I got a new camera, so I'm just trying to still figure out how for it to be so blurry at times. I think I finally figured it out. People are helping me with my editing. I hope you guys are enjoying the transitions and all the cool things and animation they've been doing for my videos. But I have had really, really fun doing this series for you. And March got all kinds of ideas about my hair videos that I want to post up, so I hope you guys stay tuned. And like I always say, be you, stay true, and be naturally seen. Bye. So here is a picture of a normal hair cuticle versus a damaged hair cuticle under a microscope. So just by looking at it, you can just tell that on the damaged hair cuticle, there's no way, it being like scales, that moisture can be kept in of those layers. Moisture will just basically, once you put it in there, will just leave your hair. So when you use conditioner, conditioner basically is primarily used to smooth out the cuticle, to temporarily smooth out any damage that you may have. And the conditioner, depending on their ingredients, some may just stay on the cuticle and others may actually penetrate into the cortex. And it just depends on your ingredients, and that's why it's really important to read the ingredients on your leave-in conditioners and co-wash conditioners and deep conditioners. Deep conditioners, they usually have ingredients that will penetrate the cuticle into the next layer, which is really important. And that's all based on the molecules, how big the molecules are, if it's going to be able to penetrate or not. So usually with conditioners, the primary ingredient is silicone base. Of course, there's a lot of conditioners that don't have any cones in it, but the cones stay on top of the cuticle to smooth it down. But yeah, with porosity and conditioners, just make sure you read the ingredients and be aware of what you're putting in your hair.
So ready to get the week started manifesting good things. Manifesting good things, good thoughts, positivity. I have a habit of thinking negative sometimes. I'm human. But I really want to have a good week. A lot of things going on at work that I want to go well, so I need to be in a good headspace.
So I took Monday off just to have an extra long weekend, get ready for the work week. So how do you guys stay in a positive? I was saying, how do you guys stay in a positive mindset? How do you manifest things in your heart to come true in real life? So let me know.
So, finally figured out how to focus. My video's been out of focus lately on YouTube. Finally figured it out. I say that anyone with a disability, visual disability, you can do YouTube. You can record. You can take photography. Don't let any disability. It doesn't matter if it's visual. It could be any. You can do whatever you want. You put your mind to it. There's always a workaround. Always.